So I first took a DNA test because I wanted answers as to why I didn't look like anyone in my family. I was born to two white parents and it just never really got spoken about, despite the fact that I used to ask questions again and again. It was mainly because my father got sick and I didn't want him to pass away and not have the answers that I needed, but I was too scared to process it when he was ill and we were really distracted with everything else that was going on. So it wasn't until a year after he passed away in 2016 that I managed to take the DNA sample that had been in my room for a year and process it with a company, and then I found out that we weren't related biologically. For a long time it really shattered that image that I had of being my dad's daughter. All that was taken away with that one result I got via email. There's not a lot of support when you get those types of results. There's no direction to charities or support networks or centres that can help you. You're just on your own once you get those results, and it's up to you to then go forward and decipher what they mean and talk to your family and find out the truth. These tests can be useful, but they're also a bit misleading in terms of how they describe ethnicity and how they describe race. I can see that when it comes to my Irish heritage, you can kind of get a lot more granular detail. And then when I found out that I was part Nigerian, I couldn't really get much more on the site other than that. And that's because a lot of these databases are skewed towards whiteness. So when they brought these tests to market, a lot of them were marketing to people of Caucasian descent. There's definitely companies that are doing sort of African genetic projects, and they're going to Africa and they're requesting the DNA samples of people from different tribes in different parts of Africa. It's like quite a murky sort of industry to conduct. I know that they're trying to broaden out the population samples for people from Africa and for people from, I guess, minority backgrounds, but the way in which they're going about and mining that genetic information is definitely cause for concern. You know, it's a good thing because we want more information on people of colour in these DNA databases, but at the same time we want it to be done ethically. So when I got the first result, I started crafting this kind of like new form, black identity in my head. Okay, cool, we're from Nigeria. Then I did another test. Oh, actually, it's Benin and Togo. How do these two cultures differ? That can be really destabilising for these people who are taking tests like me and who need a bit more of a deeper understanding as to where their identity lies. On this journey, I realised, talking to geneticists and evolutionary biologists, that these tests are useful to a certain point, but they kind of imply that there are universal genetic differences between races, and it's not true. I think a lot of what we know to believe as race or ethnicity, it's self-prescribed, and it's how we affiliate with groups of people that maybe look like us based on customs and traditions, but an ethnicity is not coded into your DNA. So for me, nothing's really changed in how I feel about myself. It's just given me permission to be, I guess, less apologetic about my blackness and more confident in how I assert myself. Yeah, and even still, when I tell people I've got Nigerian heritage, there's a part of me that feels like I'm discounting the British heritage that I got from my dad, because I don't want to ever write my dad out of my narrative. But now I feel like all these discussions that we've had, and you'll hear some of it in the podcast, all these discussions I've had with my family have brought us closer together and have sort of facilitated this level of understanding that I never thought we would have. Just being able to say that has given me more than I had for like 20-something years.